We can vape if you want to. We can leave cigarettes behind. Cause our friends all vape, and if they don't vape, then they're no friends of mine.
Yeah, Vista Vapors. Visit them today at tinyurl.com/STSvape.
You can get one bottle of juice for 1 penny.
That's tinyurl.com/STSvape. Vista Vapors.
You can leave cigarettes behind.
Mysterious Productions. Let's get spunky. What we doing? Gotta get your wet by using that spunky tonight.
Shooting the Shiznit is sponsored by SpunkLube.com. SpunkLube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. SpunkLube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. Place your order today at SpunkLube.com and tell them Shooting the Shiznit sent you.
When things got dry, man, I pulled out the tube. I gotta get her wet by using my spunk lube. Nice and smooth.
Blue Chew can now offer you the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis at a fraction of the price, discreetly delivered to your door. No waiting rooms, no appointments required, no embarrassing face-to-face meeting with your doctor. You're just minutes away from a heightened sex life.
Use promo code STS. Get your first month free. All you have to do is pay postage and handling. Now on with the show. Live from STS Studios in St. Louis, Missouri, I've got waiting in the green room my old buddy Daniel Jones. Daniel, come on and sit next to me and let's talk.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do the deal.
Hey, let's pull the curtain back a few minutes. That took me 5 times, guys, to say that. So hopefully this will be a good episode. It'll be on the blooper show in July, so enjoy that part. Dana, we've been knowing each other I'm horrible with years, so you got to tell me what year that NEW started and we would become acquainted.
We're probably about 10 years from when NEW started. We're right at 11 years for me in the business.
Right, so that would be, about 10 years. So that's what I was thinking. Like I said, everything just, after you get over 50 years old, everything just mushes together. And you can't remember why you walked into the living room. I can't ever remember. I walked in here for what? But I want to start before that. I turned
41 a week ago, so I'm getting up there with you.
Man, I was in like the best shape of my life, I guess, when I was 44 or 45, and now I work from home, and I'm just a fat slob again. So there we go. It happens. It makes life easy, but you don't exercise.
I'm right there with you. I was fit as a fiddle and everything, and I was when I was running and gunning and around Memphis and the surrounding area, and now I've slacked off.
yeah, that's the best way to put it. Slacked off. All right, let's start when you was a kid. Where were you born and raised, and why I ask you that? So we'll start to see how your wrestling fandom started there.
Well, I was born and raised around Memphis. The first 5 years of my life, I traveled around pretty good, in and out of Memphis. My dad, he's a construction superintendent. He was a construction superintendent for Walgreens, and was a very good one. And they had him traveling all over the United States. So I actually spent the first 5 birthdays of my life in different states. Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, California, Arizona, Colorado, you name it, I've been there. I don't remember half of it.
Right.
So, going, I can first getting into the wrestling and everything. I can remember specifically sitting on my grandparents' floor, and my grandfather's therapy from his way to cut loose was Channel 5 wrestling every Saturday morning. And if anybody in Memphis is listening, all you got to do is say Channel 5 wrestling every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. That's all you got to do, and they know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But that was my first taste of it. And I'll be honest with you, I honestly didn't like the Channel 5 wrestling when I first saw it. My thing was WWF. I liked WWF when I first started watching wrestling, and I probably started getting heavy into WWF probably when I was about 11, 12 years old, somewhere in there, and watching Saturday Night Main Event come on NBC or whatever channel it was on. And instead of having Saturday Night Live that week, they would have
Right. Yeah, I loved
Night.
that. Yeah.
So I loved it too. I lived for that, man. That was great. So, but I'd say about 11 or 12, I started watching the WWF and Macho Man, and I think the big program when I started watching was when Earthquake had jumped Hulk Hogan. That was the big program for WWF at the time. So and that got me into watching the VHS tapes and renting the VHS tapes from Blockbuster. Which I'm sure we've all done.
That's funny. That's been in a lot of people's story, and everybody's got their own, how did I start to become a wrestler? And that's one of the reasons, our wrestling fan, that's one of the reasons I started this podcast back up, was just, there's so many people in the business I know, or so many people in the business I just want to ask, how the hell did you get started? But those VHS tapes, at the time when people were renting those, I had already started bootlegging every freaking TV show. I'm serious. That's what we did. We had a guy in Florida. You had a guy in Memphis. I was the guy in Memphis. You had a guy everywhere. They would send you tapes, and then I actually sold tapes. Well, I didn't sell them. Wait. If someone gave me a donation, I would give them tapes. I wouldn't want to sell
donation
anything.
To your. Yes, your project that you were working on to expand the minds of wrestling fans everywhere.
This was before the Gomi Fund, so I had to do something. But yeah, that's the way we did. But I read somewhere, and I can't remember who the wrestler was, but he had pretty much the same experience that you did, in the sense that you went and rented all those tapes, and this guy told me he started over renting them. Like he'd already went through the first 10, and then he started going over them again, or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I would go through the tapes that Blockbuster would put out. Like they would sell those tapes for like $2 that they'd had on the rental shelves. I'd go through those and I'd find burned up copies of WrestleMania 10 or something, and I'd go to closeout stores and look through the VHS tapes. As a matter of fact, I still have my VHS collection.
Oh wow!
I still have it. It's funny because, and we might get to this later. I remember the first copy, the first actual VHS copy I owned was Starrcade '87, and it's featured on one of the matches is a Skywalker's match. It's a scaffold match, Midnight Express versus Rock and Roll Express.
Oh yeah,
and that feeds into right where I am now. So
yes, it does. We'll get to that. And I think I'll tell you a funny story also with the two people that's helped train you and the things that you're doing. So I always so you're a big fan. At any time when you was growing up, did you say I want to become a professional wrestler?
Oh yeah, I knew at 13 I wanted to be a wrestler. But you get older, and stuff happens and everything. I knew I wanted to be a wrestler at 13. I really did, and I did some high school wrestling. I did I wasn't good at it. I'll admit it. I wasn't good at it, but I did have one win under my belt in high school, and it was in a tournament and everything. And I didn't get to do too much in high school because, like I said, I wasn't that good, and it just was what it was at the time. I had ADD. And my grades weren't what they're supposed to be for me to be able to wrestle. So I went to a private school. I went to Briarcrest Christian School in Memphis, and just graduated from there and everything. But I did 2 years of high school wrestling with them, and it was cool. It was a great experience. I'd working out and being young like that. My best memory of that experience was I would get out of wrestling practice and I would hurt every inch of my body would hurt, from running stairs or, just continuously doing matches or whatever. And I remember my mom had a Grand Caravan. We'd bought this minivan, and my mom had a Grand Caravan. And I remember she put me in the passenger seat. I'd tilt the chair all the way back, and she always had a full plate of food from what they had cooked dinner, because it was always like 7 or 8 o'clock at night when we would get out of practice. So I would prop that plate of food up on my chest. I would tilt the seat all the way back. I'd buckle myself in, tilt the seat all the way back. I'd put that plate of food on my chest, and it was everything I could do to move my hand, to move the fork, then carry the food from my chest to my mouth. That's how bad, the wrestling practice hurt. But, that's how good it was too. So, it was a good experience for later on in life, So, but yeah, I did. I wanted to be a wrestler. I knew I wanted to be a wrestler, I just didn't know. I knew I wanted to be a professional wrestler, but I just didn't know how to become one, to be honest with you. And
right. And I like to ask this question now. That you're a fan, you're a kid, but at what time did you know or think or say, "Hey, this is a work. I want to," but I also still want to know what's going on. But when did you realize, it wasn't up and up?
I'd say so. I'd say it probably happened sometime in high school. Probably around sophomore or junior year, you realize it's theater, it's drama, just like everything, that you're putting on plays and stuff in high school, which I was a part of a drama team in high school. I was part of the play productions that we put on. I would build the sets and stuff like that. So I never acted in any plays, but I took in the theater, I liked it. So.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I think I was, suspicious the first time I went because I was, and I've told this a million times, but I was so close to the ring in a little town, Blythe, Arkansas, but it just really, I mean, I'm 10 years old, I really don't care. And then when I found out there was something going on, I wanted to know how it was done and what made one person better than the other, So I was just like, I've always been the big nerd, so I was really the big nerd when it came to finding out what's going on in the business kind of thing. So you become a fan, you got out of high school. Now, when you kind of started doing everything a little later in life, right?
Yeah, to tell you
before you do that, Dan, let's go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Hey, have you used that app Uber Eats?
No, I haven't.
Man, it's pretty awesome. Uber's famous for, taking over the cab industry. So it looks like now they're taking over the food delivery industry.
Really?
Yeah, what you can do is you can download the app and you can order from tons of places. I actually ordered from McDonald's today, got a 20-piece McNugget delivered to my house.
That sounds amazing.
Oh, it's awesome. The big thing is that you can put in a code that I provide for you, and you'll get $5 off your first order.
$5? Wow.
Yes, a whole $5. It's EATS, EATS dash Brian T 24790UE. That's EATS dash Brian BRIANT 24790UE. Put that code in, you get $5 off.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
All right, guys, download the app, put in the code, and save $5 on Uber Eats.
Mysterious Productions. Let's get spunky. What we do? Gotta get your wet by using that spunky tonight.
Shooting the Shiznit is sponsored by SpunkLube.com. SpunkLube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. SpunkLube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. Place your order today at SpunkLube.com and tell them Shooting the Shiznit sent you.
Man, heard being at it for a couple of rounds. When things got dry, man, I pulled out the tube. I gotta get her wet by using my spunk lube. Nice and smooth, wet and smooth.
This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills.
I've tried Cialis, I've tried Viagra. Blue Chew works the best. It's a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's definitely gotten the job done.
No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness.
Blue Chew allowed me to have more sexual freedom because it kicked in and worked faster.
Ordering Blue Chew is an absolute no-brainer for any man. Blue Chew makes my girlfriend, want to put up with me in bed.
I felt like I did when I didn't have ED.
Order online to get your first month free.
I want my girlfriend to want me, and with Blue Chew, she really does. Blue Chew is the future of manhood.
Go to BlueChew.com and restart the party. Or call 800-232-8803. 800-232-8803.
That's BLUE Chew.com. Promo STS, and you get to try it for free.
Wow.
I hear you.
Wow.
All right, back from commercial. We got a lot of things to talk about. Hopefully, we'll get them all. Dan, you had so you started late with the training to be a wrestler, right?
Yeah. And I did have an initial brush with wrestling training that very few people actually know about. I was actually tried out for KAW. I don't know if you remember KAW or not.
Oh yeah,
it's kick-ass wrestling.
yeah.
Motley Cruz, Tasha Simone running it, along with Jimmy Golden, I believe, and they ran events and bars around Memphis and stuff like that. And I happened to catch them on late at night one night, and I think I was probably 21, 22 years old, and caught them late one night, and they said, "Come and try out. We're having an open tryout." And I said, "Okay." So I went in there and was bumping and, doing the deals and everything and doing the drills that they asked me to do. And they said, "Hey, you know what you're doing, and we think you could do this." And they offered to train me and everything. And my wife at the time nipped that in the bud. So
not no, but hell no.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, that there was just a lot of ill will and complicated stuff going on and everything. So we pretty much parted ways about 6 or 8 months after that. So, but on down the road, you skip to when I turned 29, and I'd been married for about 2 years, I believe, 2 or 3 years to my current wife, and she would watch me watch Raw and SmackDown and everything, and I'd watch them religiously, because I was a fan, and she would see me get so frustrated because I would point at the screen and I would go, "I can do better than that guy. I know I can do better than that guy." I was literally, and anybody can ask her this, she'll tell you, I was frustrated because I was pointing at the screen, yelling at the screen, going, "You screwed up. I can do better than you," and it's funny to say it now, and then look at it that way. But she finally looked at me and she goes, "This is turning into a session with you, and this is getting you depressed because you're not doing it." She goes, "Go ahead, find a wrestling school and get it out of your system, because there's going to be nothing but what ifs if you don't go and do it." And I said, "Wow, okay, sure," and I gave myself about 4 weeks to find a wrestling school. I said, if I don't find something reputable and engaging and willing to train me in 4 weeks, I'm just going to stop looking. This is over with. I'm going to turn it off in my head. I might even stop watching wrestling altogether just to keep myself from doing this, or obsessing over this. So about 1 week in, I do a Google search, and I was doing regular Google searches and everything. And I don't know why Ken's school didn't pop up at the top of the list, but it popped up about, 100 items in.
Right. And guys, it's he's talking about, some people may not know who we're talking about, but Ken Wayne, Nightmare Ken Wayne, was part of the tag team, the Nightmares, for so long, and his school was in West Memphis. So how far was West Memphis for you?
It was 45-minute drive one way. So it wasn't that bad, but I drove through Memphis to get there. I actually lived in Lakeland, just outside the other side of Memphis. So I had to drive through Memphis to get there every time. And I was doing classes 3, maybe 4 times a week, 3 and 4 hours at a time. And then I'd hit the gym afterwards as well. And I'd hit the gym the days that I didn't go in and work out at the wrestling school and stuff. And, I stayed with it for about 8 months, and 8 months in, Ken said, "Okay, let's put you in the ring." And we had started NEW by then. And I'd helped Ken pretty much build a wrestling studio.
Yeah, that's what I was going to. That was one of my next questions there. That I remember when it was time for you to get started, and Ken had told me, "Look, this guy does so much stuff backstage," or I didn't realize how much stuff he was doing. But yeah, go ahead, talk about what the actual studio thing that was built in this little building that man, if you could have seen the outside.
Little bitty warehouse out in the middle of the ghetto in West Memphis.
Hey, that's the truth, right there.
We went out and did stuff in the community, and we didn't realize it, but 75% of West Memphis lives below the poverty line. 75% of the people that live within the city limits, they don't have a TV. They live below the poverty line. So it's amazing to be, to come into an area like that and try to be a part of the community with a wrestling show, and try to, boost morale in the neighborhood and the community and everything, and be entertaining for those people, we did about a month after I got there. Ken said he wanted to do some construction, so I said, "Okay, well, tell me what you need and I'll help you out." And we did. We completely tore the inside of the school apart and rebuilt it from the ground up, and restructured the entire interior of that building to where pretty much the production, the offices, and everything were on one side, and the other side was the studio, where we had the ring. We had lights, studio lights that for the ring, and colored lights that lit up the curtains on the outside. We had theater curtains that we had bought from University of Memphis. We'd gotten some of their old curtains when they redid their theater. We got the old curtains out and we put them in there and everything, and did that deal, and built a studio out of nothing pretty much. And it was crazy. You walked in the door and you wouldn't think that something like that would be in a warehouse in the middle of West Memphis.
Well, that was part of it too. The thing about it is, and this was one of I loved NEW. As I used to report about it on WrestlingRideOnline.com, and I was a huge fan of the actual style and you guys, because I thought all of you had potential to be, stars and everything. But one of the problems was you just never could get anybody in through the door, and I never seen posters or anything like that. I hated that part about it. But when you guys started doing TV, when you would look at the television, I mean, it was top-notch stuff there.
It was production quality. I mean, it was stuff that would put some other promotions to shame. It really was. We had good quality cameras. We had good quality graphics. And it was all done by Ken and one of our other guys, our production guys, Richard Bresler. And we got lucky with Richard too, because Richard was he was a production guy that worked straight with one of the Jonesboro TV stations. And I think he still works there actually. And he'd go in and he'd take it straight over to the TV studios and be able to edit the show in the TV studio and everything. And then we send it to the television station in Mississippi. And we were on for 4 years in Mississippi, doing TV for 4 years straight.
I was always, the television looked good. It was fun. And I always, you was able to do the interviews. It just looked like old time wrestling. And that's what I liked the most about it. And you were being trained by Ken Wayne, a tag team wrestler, one of the, in his era, one of the best guys around. And just, was he just as demanding as I thought he was?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, Ken was a perfectionist, and that was the whole reason. Like I was in there constantly. Like I said, some of these schools, they don't do but 1-2 sessions a week, maybe, and some of these other schools, they've got sessions all through the week. Some schools do 3 sessions a week. We were in there anytime Ken would open the door for us, and we were constantly training, constantly getting better, constantly doing drills, constantly doing repetitions. And, Ken was a stickler for, if you're going to go out there and say you were trained by Nightmare Ken Wayne, you're going to be good, damn it,
Yeah, so that was part of it. That was a major part of it there. Of those guys that was there with you, the group that was with you, we seen a guy by the name of Kevin Nichols. He actually went to the WWE, NXT, yes, I believe, for a while. Of that group, though, I always thought Kevin had potential to be a star, really, because of all the size and everything. But was there somebody else there that you thought would be a lot more that you would see of them that we just don't see them anymore? They're not even in the business at all.
I honestly thought we would see more Greg King. I really thought he had the body. He was young, and if he really wanted to do it, he was white meat babyface material, he had that all-American kid look and had that drive, too. He did an hour to graduate from Ken School. You had to do an hour match, a 1 hour match. And he did the 1 hour match, and he was still ready to go at the end of the 1 hour. He was conditioned perfectly. And he had, like I said, he had the body, he had the look, and I think he may have been just, maybe one level below what he should have been. I think if he'd have stayed with it just a little bit longer and gotten just a little bit better, I tell you, the sky would have been the limit for him. I really think that.
Yeah, Greg was really good. I think when he got injured there with when they had the accident with Eric, Eric, what it was, the nose, the mouth, and it all. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. He got kicked, and he got kicked by Eric Wayne, Ken's son. And I'm pretty sure it was an accident. I'm pretty positive it was an accident.
Too.
It was just.
I was pretty,
Crap happens. And it's just the way it happens in the ring sometimes. And Eric was just on an unlucky streak. I don't know what was going on, if he just wasn't paying attention a lot of times or whatever, but he was on an unlucky streak of hurting people there for a minute. And it just kept happening. And every time it would happen was just like, God, how unlucky can you be?
I know.
Back to Greg though. He did get injured. He had a cracked eye socket, I believe it was, or a fractured eye socket from the kick that Eric gave him. And again, it was an accident. I play it back in my head now, and I remember seeing it because I think I may have actually been filming that segment back in the back. I may have been on the video switchboard switching cameras, and got a close up look at that when it happened, and it was pretty hairy. And then to make matters worse, Greg was in like a head-on car collision.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like
now.
a few months
yeah.
after that,
Yeah,
and got thrown into the windshield face first. So that just compounded things. So, but yeah, it that's the one guy I wish, if anybody had the look and the charisma and had the style to make it, and really wanted to make it, I think Greg could have made it. I really do.
I agree with you, but him and, like I said, Kid was always one of my favorite. Just
Kevin. I don't know what happened with Kevin, to be honest. I don't know if there was somebody at NXT that just didn't like him or what exactly it was, because Kevin tried maybe 4 or 5 different gimmicks in NXT, and he knocked it out of the park with every one of them. I got sent links to some of the promos that he was doing, and I thought it was amazing stuff. But everything that he did, they shut him down on. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So,
I know,
but
it's weird. It's weird that
he
you
was
see people.
very close to being a Wyatt family member.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I'm going to try to bring him on. I've talked to him before about coming on because I want to hear the whole story. And I know he's not in business anymore, so he don't really give a shit. Well, Kevin, he never gave a shit anyway. What was I going to say?
He never gave a
Hey, that's what I liked about him too. So, All right. So what I want to do is you got out of the business for a while, didn't you? And then I know you started commentating, but you're doing something really. And I still got a story about Ken Wayne and Ricky Morton that goes together. But you're now in Tennessee, in the area where Ricky Morton has his school.
Yes, I am in East Tennessee. I live in Kingsport now. I moved as far away from Memphis as you could possibly get without leaving the state. And very much, about 45 minutes south of me, the same exact distance that Ken's school was from me, about 45 minutes south of me in Chuckey, Tennessee, at 2050 Chuckey Highway, is the School of Morton. And we hooked up. I actually started commentating for Tony Givens, who originally...
I'm familiar with Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, he was originally running NWA Smoky Mountain over here when I moved over here. And I was in with the NWA group. I was in with NWA Mid-South and Golden Boy Greg Anthony and them before I moved over to East Tennessee. And I asked Greg, did he have any contacts over here? And he hooked me up with Tony. And I talked with Tony, and I said, "Do you need a ring announcer? Do you need this? Do you need that?" I said, "I've been a wrestler, I've been retired for about a year, and I'd like to do some ring announcing, and I think you could use me because my other side job was I was a mobile DJ for 17 years. I DJ'd weddings and parties and all kinds of events.
Yep.
So I've got the voice to do it. When I want to, I can turn my radio voice on and I can sound like an announcer, no problem. So." I got hooked up with Tony at a benefit show, and he's been using me ever since. So it's been about 1.5 years, 2 years now since me and Tony hooked up. And about a year or so ago, there was some goings on and everything, and a little shuffle happened, and I got moved into the head commentator spot for his TV show over here. So I was on TV every Saturday morning introducing Tony's show to people that were in the Tri-Cities area here on CW. And I'd be in between segments and in between matches, and I'd be calling the matches too live. And I've been having tons of fun doing that, and I'm still doing that. As a matter of fact, I'm still actually doing TV commentary for Tony. Tony doesn't have TV anymore. He's strictly running on his streaming service now, though.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But the funny part is now, I asked Tony, and, and it's funny. It's like 1 year ago to the day almost. I turned 40, and I said, I want to have one more match. I just want to have one more match. And I want to be able to go when I have this match. So I asked Tony straight up. I said, Tony, do you think I should go to school of Morton and get in ring shape? Because we were going to book this angle in to where, I come in as a commentator, but nobody knows that I've been a wrestler for the past 7 years, in Memphis. So we were going to book this angle like this, and I run it past Tony, and he goes, "Yeah, get in ring shape, because I've been out for 2 years. I'd gained weight, still gained weight. I've still found the weight. I still found all the weight when I was back wrestling before. So, so I was like, let me get in shape, and that way I don't look, blown up or whatever when I'm wrestling the guys at Innovate, which, we've changed from NWA because Billy Corgan bought all that crap. So we've changed from NWA, and now we're Innovate Pro Wrestling. So, and he goes, "Yeah, sure. Go over to School of Morton, get in shape. Let me know when you're ready." And so I go over to School of Morton, and I hook up with James and Lisa Strange, who pretty much run the school. And Ricky is coming in and helping train about once a week, maybe twice a week. And he comes in and shows us all kinds of stuff and all kinds of different ways to do things and everything. And I've been what turned into I just want one more match turned into I have to teach these guys how to wrestle. So I got hooked up with James and Lisa after a little bit, and was steadily coming in and training and everything and doing the training and everything. And then I started showing the guys that work there how to do different things, and now I've turned into a trainer for them. So now I'm just like I was at Ken's. I stayed at Ken's for a good 4 years, and by the end of the 4 years, for 2 or 3 years, I'd actually been training people because the head trainer Kevin, he moved on to NXT at that time, so I had to slide in and take that position as a trainer for Ken's school. So here I am, full circle again. Back where I started 10 years ago. And here I am. I'm training at another wrestling school, and we've totally redone the inside of the school. Sound familiar?
That sounds really familiar there.
We've totally redone the inside of the school, and he now has 3 rings up inside the school at any given time. You walk in the door, there's 3 rings up, and you can get in any 3 of them, any of the 3, and start training. It's not what it once was, because when I got there, the inside of the building was sectioned up with walls and everything, and it was kind of messed up and crowded in there and everything. We knocked the walls down. We moved the concession stand back. We moved the locker room back into another room. We knocked all the walls down. We now have curtains up that cover stuff during show days and stuff. And when we're not running a show, we pull the curtains back, and there's 3 rings in the building. And like I said, you got 3 rings and 0 excuses, is what I like to say. You got 3 rings and 0 excuses. Get in one of them and start training.
There you go. Dang, 3 rings. That's pretty awesome. I remember seeing something like that at the Power Plant. I was 3 or 4 rings that were all in that. But, that's the thing. I mean, training with Ricky Morton and training, all I could think of is you're with, and not a lot of people, probably in the South, will know that what I'm saying is true about the Nightmares, but you have trained with 2 of the best tag team guys ever in the business when it comes to, at one time, I remember some of the first kayfabe sheets I got, there was this guy who ranked all the tag teams and stuff, and it was funny because I was a huge Nightmares fan, but he had the Nightmares as number 1, and I was like, what the hell? Why is he? And come to find out they were. They were just a good team. And then Ricky Morton. So I want you to put over the school and all that and your social media, but before we go, I want to tell you the story. So I'm a huge, as you know, me and Ken was friends for a long time, but I was a huge Nightmare fan. And then I was a huge mark for Bobby Eaton in the Midnight Express, and I've done some matches with Bobby as a Golden Boy's manager and stuff. So those are two of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I meet Ricky. I've only met Ricky more than one time, and I meet him, and I say to him, I said, Ricky, who's the best wrestler you've ever been in the ring with? Was it Rick? I asked him if it was Ric Flair. Do you know what the two names he said was?
No, what?
Bobby Eaton and Ken Wayne.
Nah.
And I thought it was a rib. I started looking around. I was like, who's fucking with me?
Yeah.
Who's fucking with me? Because that's my two favorite wrestlers. Who's fucking with me?
I'll tell you this too. I've got a quick story for you. Okay.
All right.
We'll flash back to the front of the interview. You know, you remember my first tape, right? It was that Skywalker's match, that scaffold match, Midnight Express versus Rock and Roll Express, right? So 7 years into the business, and Ricky probably doesn't even remember this, but I have yet to point it out to him though. We were doing a show in downtown Memphis at the convention center. It was Matt Riviere. It was TCW at the time, and we come in to the locker room, and I'm getting ready to get dressed for the night and everything. And Bobby Eaton always come over to Ken's and would always, mess around with us and, work with us in the ring or shoot the breeze with us on the outside or whatever. And so I'm already talking to Bobby, because me and Bobby have already known each other for about 5 years at that point.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm already talking to Bobby, and then Ricky Morton comes down, sits next to me. And I'm sitting here thinking, on the inside of me, there's a 13-year-old kid that's freaking the hell out right now. So
I bet.
I'm watching my first freaking wrestling tape is pretty much sitting on either side of me right now. So I'm sitting there. I've got Bobby Eaton on one side of me, and I got Ricky Morton on the other, and we're talking like we've known each other for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man.
Bobby is the thing about it is Bobby's like the most normal guy ever. But I want to tell you, I had one of those oh shit moments. Brian Thompson had Bobby Eaton in, I'm going to say Piggott, I think. It might have been Piggott. Rector. We was in Rector, Arkansas, and he says, you want to do an angle. And so I yell at Golden Boy. Golden Boy has never done anything with Bobby Eaton. I've never done anything with Eaton. And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I walk out, and me and Golden Boy start talking about Bobby Eaton. And how him and Brian Thompson's nothing and all this. And we end up getting Bobby in the ring. And, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, shit, this is Bobby Eaton, And so I say, Bobby, you're absolutely the best, in one of the best, no, I said the best tag team ever, well, except the Rock and Roll Express. But you were in it like that. Bobby didn't even blink. And then the first match he had, Golden Boy had with Bobby came out to that music. And we're standing in the middle of the ring, and that music starts playing. And I say, well, do you have goosebumps? And Greg goes, yeah, just a little bit. But, yeah, you still mark out when you have stuff like that. All right, put on.
Oh, absolutely. I got, we had a bunkhouse stampede match in Johnson City over here. It was Christmas Day Eve. It was the day of Christmas, Christmas Day, but it was that night. It wasn't Christmas Eve, but it was Christmas Day Eve. So, but we had a bunkhouse stampede match. And of course, we're all coming out there. We're wearing blue jeans and cowboy boots and vests and, kind of look like cowboys and everything. And everybody's wearing anything that they can get on that makes them look different. And so, and I'm out there, calling the action, and I'm telling, who to get out of the ring and everything. And then finally I left it down to me, one of the guys is Luscious Lawrence, another guy named Maverick, another guy named Roy, and another guy, and it was Ricky Morton. And I said, all right. And I put Roy in the corner, and I was getting ready to go out. And I put Roy in the corner, and I was going to let Roy put me out. And I said, all right, when I come back in here, just, move out of the way and pin me. Is all I was going to do. Well, I put my back to the ring, and next thing I know, Ricky Morton's got his boot off, and he's hitting Lawrence with it. He's hitting Maverick with it. And I said, I'm going to get me some of that. And I run right in there. And then I staggered up and I took another one and I fell down. And Ricky's looking down at me. He goes, damn, that was good. And he pins me. And I'm out of the match. And I was like, well, I wanted Roy to get me out, but that works too.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, Dan, what I need you to do is I want you to put over your shit that's on social media, but I also want you to put the school over and if there's someone listening to this in the Tennessee area and decides they want to be a professional wrestler, you can go and tell Dan you heard it about Ricky Morton's school on Shooting the Shiznit, and he'll give me a kickback. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, go ahead, tell him, shake his hand and say, hey, I want to be a professional wrestler. These are some of the schools in this area that are real schools, and they will teach you to become a professional wrestler. There's very few in that area. So.
We got, Handsome Jimmy Valiant School is just up the road I believe it's over in North Carolina. I want to say it's in North Carolina. I can't remember the exact town in North. So, but School of Morton, Ricky Morton Online. We've got, we do stream a lot of our events. So if you're subscribed to the School of Morton Facebook page, you will get to see some of our events because we do stream them to Facebook and we do stream them to YouTube. So we do live streaming and it brings in the money. So if you guys want to donate to the school, all you got to do is just watch. Click on it and watch.
Good deal. Good deal.
So and then I'm on Facebook as Dangerous Dan Matthews, and I have a Twitter. I don't use a lot. It's One Dangerous Dan. It's spelled out ONE Dangerous Dan. So yeah, and like I said, go and visit School of Morton Facebook page and subscribe to them, and you'll get to see some of their streaming live events and stuff. We got a lot of stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff on the line, and I know this. I know you said not to promote any events, but you also said we're going to be on in the next 2 months. We're actually scheduled to go to Panama City Beach, Florida in November.
Oh wow, good deal.
Wrestle on the beach. We're going to be wrestling on the beach in November at a hot rod show. It's November 2nd. If you guys are in the area, some people like to vacation in Florida during the winter months. So come and see us in November, guys.
Man, that comes a long way from I told the story about my first wrestling show I promoted. We had sand or dirt in a dressing room as a dirt floor. So there you go. There you go. Sand, dirt. That's the same damn thing. Hey guys, same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there, and as everyone knows, and now Dangerous Dan Matthews will know, I love my mama. Thank you, Dan. I forgot to warn you to have a catchphrase.
Graphic design is very important. Your logo is the first image potential customers see. What kind of impression would you want to make today? Need a podcast logo or a t-shirt design? KT does art. Her name has become synonymous with quality and professionalism in the graphic design community. She specializes in graphic design, painting, and more. She provides affordable commissions and professional quality with a timely delivery. Contact KT via email at kt_doesart@yahoo.com. Check out her Instagram at instagram.com/kt_doesart.
Hey, that was another great episode of Shooting the Shiznit. Always, we're looking for contestants for Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever. A big shout out to our sponsors this month. Remember, we have Patreon at /Shooting the Shiznit. That's IN the Shiznit, Shooting the Shiznit. Only $1. You get actually post-show episodes and episodes uncut. A big thank you to Bob McGee at Pro Wrestling's Between the Sheets, www.pwbts.com, Gene Jackson at LocalsToLegends.com, Sean Garmer at Wrestling to Max website, that's w2mnet.com. You can reach me at Comic Book Mark BT on Twitter, at BT Shooting the Shiznit on Instagram. We're on Facebook with the Shooting the Shiznit Facebook page, and we also have the Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk Facebook group. If we don't like you in there, we'll kick you out. Guys, you can listen to us on all your favorite podcast players: iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, and we're on Spotify. That's right, a big podcast roll call. Suplex City Limits, Creative Control with our buddy JoJo on there. Keeping it 100 with Conan. I listen to it every freaking week. P3 Radio with my buddy Max and Josh. Listen to the Red Savan episode, guys. You will love that one. Also, non-wrestling podcast, Who's Right podcast, and Po Boys podcast. Just a quick reminder, we have merch. That's right, we have merch. That's tinyurl.com/we have merch. We have t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, you name it. Prices starting at only $20 for the shirts. Sizes up to 5XL. We have Cool Kids, Countdown, and Shooting the Shiznit logo shirts, and believe it or not, we have them in different colors besides black. We also have a few fun parody accounts, including Botch Mode, I'm a Shiznitter, Being the Shiznit, and much more. Buy one now. Guys, I am Brian Tremmel. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.